nerderotic.com.
Welcome back to Nerderotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerderotic.com, and thank God we're talking about the Orville. Once again, sorry, I skipped last week to do that Rotten Tomatoes video, which I felt was needed, but it's back to the breakdowns, and it's a good thing I waited for the best episode of the Orville ever. Yes, maybe a little bit of prisoner of the moment thing going on, but as it stands right now, this is my favorite Orville episode. I feel it's a series-defining episode. Yes, it borrows heavily from Star Trek because it's a parody. That's what this show does. But it also does things that Star Trek didn't do. It takes it a little step further. It also took the time to pay something off that has been building up for a season and a half. Done brilliantly. Seth MacFarlane is the man. I'm just going to come out and say it right now. I hope this is his focus for the rest of his career. I want 10 seasons of the Orville. This is the new Star Trek. We don't need Star Trek Discovery anymore, or Picard series, or anything else. I've got it right here with the Orville. So as you can tell, I'm very excited about this episode. So let's get to the scene-by-scene breakdown. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter video. I have a lot of videos to do, but I felt it necessary to do something positive. And the Orville is a positive out there in television. The episode starts out innocently enough with Issac, Marcus, and Ty playing some fun little game. Of course, Issac wins, and then of course, Issac says he wins because he is more intelligent. When Marcus and Ty both let Issac know that it's not very nice to keep saying that you're more intelligent, Issac says that is irrelevant. That should have been our first warning sign. Then Claire comes in and wants to have the thing, which I first thought was them going to bow chicka wow wow. But it turned out to be the other thing. And this is the point where they tell Marcus and Ty that they are dating. And of course, Marcus and Ty know because they're kids and kids know things before the parents usually do. As a parent, I know this. And that's when things get going because right when they announce that, Issac switches off and dies. Kaylons, of course, are artificial organisms or basically replicants or robots. Are they really truly alive? Yes, there is AI, artificial intelligence, but is it conscious? Is it a conscious being? What happens to it when it dies? Do you simply fix it and turn it back on? Or is there something else in there? We're not really sure. That's the mystery of Issac. And that's the wonderful part about Issac, because he's a mix of a lot of things. At first, he's Data. He's a little bit of Spock. But we're going to find out that there's a lot more than that. They take Issac to the med bay, which I'm not sure is the best place to actually take him because he's not obviously biological. And I have to agree with John Lamar here that they should take it down to engineering, take him down to engineering, sorry Issac, and open him up because they don't even have a Kaylon instruction manual, which is obviously what they need. And they're left not knowing what to do. Ed Mercer does the next wise thing and calls for Admiral Halsey, which means we get a Victor Garber cameo. Kelly and Ed contact Admiral Halsey, trying to see if they can contact Kaylon, which is completely shut off from the rest of the Union. Nobody can even get near their planet. That's why they sent Issac over to see if they would consider joining the Union. This would be a big win if they could get them in the Union, according to Admiral Halsey, because they need a strong ally against the Krill. Admiral Halsey asks Ed once again if they tried everything to help Issac, and then Ed shoots back, "Picture your mom trying to hook up a stereo." And then Victor Garber's response is perfect. "I understand." So they use this as an opportunity, and it could be a win-win. They can get Issac back, and they can get Kaylon in the Union. The only problem is it's so far out that it's out of comm range, and if they get any trouble, they're on their own, but Admiral Halsey gives them the go. They set a course to Kaylon, surprising the crew a little bit. We get a cute little scene with Marcus and Ty trying to talk to a very dead Issac. Claire sends them off, and then she whispers, "Don't go." They arrive at Kaylon unannounced, open a channel, try to tell them that they have their emissary on board, and they are immediately scanned. And this is a very cool 80s Tron effect that I liked a lot. Gordon comments about possibly getting cancer from that scan. Then they are given landing coordinates, and they head down to the planet, and then we get some very cool scenes. Got some V'ger callbacks. We have visual callbacks of Cloud City over Bespin from Empire Strikes Back, and musical callbacks from James Horner's Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan flying through the nebula. They touch down on Kaylon, meet Kaylon Prime, and find out that Issac had been indeed switched off because they had gotten all the information they needed from his emissary mission. This surprises the crew a bit, and they plead to have Issac switched back on and put back on the Orville. Kaelon Prime asks the crew of the Orville to wait outside as he brings Issac into a room and switches him on. Issac mentions that he has been off for 37.2 cycles, inquires why. He finds out that his mission has been completed. Then Issac asks if a decision has been made. Of course, we're led to believe that this is a decision to join the Union, but it might be something else. Issac returns to the crew and informs Claire and the crew that he has no intention of returning to the Orville. Claire is clearly upset, but she asks if Issac would at least come back on the ship for a few minutes and pretend he is interested in saying goodbye to the boys. The interesting thing to note from the last scene is when Kaelon Prime turns Issac on, Issac is surprised that the Orville is still there. Issac says goodbye to the kids. Obviously, they don't take it very well, especially Ty. Then Ed and Kelly are talking to Kaelon Prime, trying to work out some final details before possibly joining the Union, but Kaelon is not in a hurry to do so based on humanity's past of genocide, slavery, war, billions dying, and then of course they bring up the Mr. Potato Head incident with Issac. Ed acknowledges that and then says that Gordon's leg got cut off and mistakes were made on all sides. Earlier in the episode, Kelly tried to explain to Kaelon Prime human emotions are a little complicated and sometimes they get attached to things. Kaelon Prime called it a cognitive defect. Ed calls back to that and says, despite our cognitive defects, we have a lot to offer. But things are not looking good. And those red eyes are bothering me. They throw Issac a little party. He's got a cake with cookie eyes, and who knew that Gordon could sing well? Once again, the boys say goodbye. Ty gives Issac a picture so he wouldn't forget. Issac, of course, tells him from all the information that he's gathered, he will never forget. Ty runs away. Marcus goes and chases after him. Issac walks away with the picture and then drops it. So we get some mixed signals here from Issac, because when they are showing him some love at the party, he kind of twitches his head a little bit and it looks like they are getting through to him. And then when he drops the picture, it's like he's bothered by something. Tyala and Bortus inform Kelly and Ed that they have found a large number of spherical objects in the southern hemisphere of the planet that are generating immense power. Tyala mentions that the only thing she's seen before to generate that much power is a particle weapon. Then a series of events happens that I will not be able to do justice, so I hope you have watched the episode. Ty, of course, ran away because he was upset about Issac. Claire finds him in the simulator in a tree, and he found that Issac had dropped his little picture. Claire tries to tell him that Issac doesn't feel the same way humans do. Ty isn't having it, though. In the meantime, Ed and Kelly talk to Kaelon Prime, who says they haven't made a decision yet whether to join the Union. Ed thinks they're stalling and finds it confusing that a highly intelligent AI is having a hard time making a decision, yes or no. Kelly says it's a binary choice. It's the single most binary choice of them all, join or not join. In the meantime, Ty has run out of the Orville in search of Issac because he thinks Issac accidentally dropped the picture. He gets scared by a couple of Kaelons talking in their native language, and he ends up going down into a tunnel system. And again, we get more Empire Strikes Back callbacks. Ty walks down the tunnels and sees something that scares him. In the meantime, Claire finds out that he is gone, tells Ed and Kelly. They have Bortus scan the surface. They find Ty under the surface of the planet. Tyala and Bortus and Claire end up finding Ty in the tunnel system. Claire notices Ty is upset. He points to what he is upset about. Tyala and Bortus go look, and it is millions of dead bodies. Piles of bones everywhere, looking like a multi-death corporation's album cover. They show this to Ed. Ed tells them to get their ass up to the ship, and Ed and Kelly confront Issac, which I'm wondering if it was the wisest thing to do. I would have just gotten my ass off the planet. And in this last few minutes, the Orville takes a turn to greatness. It turns out the Kaelons are not only the Borg, but they're the Cylons. They had eradicated their biological makers. Although they took no pleasure in it, they found that they could not coexist. Their AI achieved the singularity. At this point, they state the obvious that Kaelon had no intention of joining the Union at all. And it turns out that Issac's whole mission was to see if humanity and biological life forms, not just humanity, were worth preserving. When Claire confronts him on this, Issac doesn't answer the question, even when she says it like this.
Is that your conclusion too, Issac? That we're not worth preserving? Answer me, you son of a bitch!
A defining badass Claire moment. Ed tries to tell the Orville to leave, but they can't. Their systems are shut down, all the airlocks are opened, and they are boarded, and we get a firefight with real consequences. And the red shirts go down by the dozens. Ty and Marcus are hiding in their room, but one of the Kalons breaks in. Maybe that's Issac with different colored eyes. We can only hope. The ship is taken over, and it turns out Kalon Primary wanted the Orville there to get the Union's security codes. That's why they needed the Union ship. They took over the Orville. The spheres that they were working on were their attack ships, and they were planning this all along. They just needed the right opportunity, and they had it with Issac. And they are setting the course to Earth to wipe out all biological forms in the galaxy. That's what I'm assuming. And that's where the episode ends. Fantastic episode of TV. This is how you do it. Simplified storytelling. You don't need Dutch angles or lens flares or a camera that's constantly in motion. This was done in the 1990s, late 80s, Star Trek The Next Generation or Star Trek Voyager or Deep Space Nine aesthetic, and it still works. Why? Because of the characters. What sold this episode? That it was an original story? Not really. It was a good sci-fi story with a great setup and an excellent payoff. They took their time to set up Issac as a sympathetic character. Yes, a sympathetic character. Although Issac is a lot like Data or Chewbacca or Hodor, a character that's either mute, we can't understand, or emotionless, and we project our feelings on that character. But Issac does have emotions and feelings. You can see that in his little head twitches. So at the end of the episode, we saw Claire pop off to Issac saying, taught them everything they know. And then Issac quickly goes over to his station while they're unlocking all the Union security codes. So my guess, he is working against the Kalons, but there's no coming back from this. These are real stakes. Those were mountains of skeletons and dead bodies on the Kalon homeworld. There is no other option than to kill all of the Kalons. Maybe the Kalons are now the big bad in the universe, the Borg of the universe, and maybe the Union is going to have to ally themselves with the Krill, and we'll actually go full on Next Generation. That's why this parody has risen to a much higher level. Yes, the Orville leveled up this episode. I think, again, this is a series-defining show. I can't wait to see the second part, and it does depend on how the second part turns out, but I cannot wait. Well done, Seth MacFarlane. Well done, Orville. You are the Star Trek we need. This week, the Orville will be taking priority over Star Trek Discovery. We will be live right after the Orville airs to talk about Identity Part 2. Please join me for that live stream. Look to nerdrotic.com for the time. Thank you, everybody, and may the small folks sing songs of your greatness.
nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.